The hazard perception test is part of the theory driving test in Great Britain, and you need to pass it before you can book the practical test. But even if you have excellent hazard awareness skills, that does not mean you're going to pass this test. You need to understand its quirks. You need to know how to play it like a game, and that's what I'm going to help you with in this video. The test consists of 14 video clips of a car driving down the road, and you need to click a mouse button as soon as you see a hazard that's going to make the driver either change speed or direction. The earlier you click that mouse button, the more points you get. So if you click it as soon as you see the hazard, you're going to get 5 points, and the later you click it, the less points you get. 4, 3, 2, 1 until you get 0 points. But you get 0 points if you click too early, which is part of the problem with this test. More on that one later. Each video clip has one hazard you're going to be scored on, but one video clip has 2 hazards, just to keep you on your toes. The maximum number of points you can get is 75, and the pass mark is 44 points. That means 43 is a fail, 44 is a pass. That works out at an average of 3 points per hazard to pass the test. Here's an example. A delivery truck is about to appear from a road on the left. The first sign that the delivery truck is approaching is a reflection in the window. And if I click for this, I'm going to get the maximum 5 points. And the later I click, the less points I'm going to get. I clicked more than once in this example, and I'll explain why later. I clicked on a 5, a 4, and a 2. But even if you click multiple times, you will get scored based on the click that has the highest number of points. In this case, it's a 5, although only just, that's nearly on the 4. But I did get 5 points for this click. Why not just click continuously then? Surely you would pass if you do that. The DVSA have thought about this, and they say if you click continuously or in a pattern, then you will score 0 for that clip. Doesn't mean you're going to be disqualified from the whole test, but you will get 0 for that individual clip that you clicked continuously in or in a pattern. How many clicks can you get away with then? The DVSA keep that to themselves. We can guess, we can look at official practice clips online to see how many clicks you can get away with, but we don't know if they are the same. Those practice clips are the same as the real clips on the real test. My advice is to try to avoid clicking more than 10 times in an individual clip, and try to avoid clicking more than 4 times close together. You should click for the potential hazards. These are hazards that have not yet made the driver change speed or direction. And you should click for the developing hazards. These are hazards which have now made the driver change speed or direction, but you only get scored for the developing hazards. So why click for both? Why click for the potential when you only get scored for the developing? Well, that's because you don't know which potential hazard will develop. And if the potential hazard develops, you may be scored based on how early you saw that hazard in the first place. A tractor is about to approach from a road on the right. Just there, you see? At the moment, the tractor is a potential hazard. They have not yet made me change speed or direction. The tractor should actually give way to me. But if I clicked now, I would get 5 points. Let's move forwards. Now it's clear that the tractor is not going to give way. They are going to pull out, and I am going to need to brake. The potential hazard has developed, but if I clicked now, I would only get 3 points. Hence why you should click for both the potential hazards and the developing hazards. Don't click for fixed hazards such as signs or arrows on the road telling you to get back to your side of the road, or islands in the middle of the road. Click for hazards that have the potential to move. Also, you don't actually have to click on the hazard, just click anywhere. And if you're using a smartphone or a tablet, just tap on the screen. That counts as you click. You don't have to tap on the hazard, just tap anywhere. Earlier I said I'll explain why I click more than once for a developing hazard. And in another part of the video, I said you can get 0 for clicking too early. Well, that's because you can see a hazard, but the computer program has not yet registered it as a hazard. So you see the hazard, you click, but the computer program's not yet registering it as a hazard, so you get 0. Hence why you want to click more than once for developing hazards. So if you click too early, hopefully your next click gives you some points. Here's an example. Up ahead you can see a cyclist, so I'm going to click now to register that I've seen a potential hazard. The next time I'm going to click is when I need to start slowing down for that hazard. As I go around the bend, I can see a queue of cars on the right. I'm clicking now because I need to start slowing down for the cyclist and follow the cyclist, as it's not safe to pass them yet. Oh, I clicked again because they looked over their right shoulder, and therefore that suggested they were going to move to the right. Not that it made a difference on this occasion, because I wasn't able to pass the cyclist anyway, because I couldn't allow 1.5 meters of distance to pass the cyclist with the queue of cars on the right. But here I would have got marked for when they looked over their right shoulder, not for when I needed to start slowing down to wait behind them. So in that clip, I didn't get scored from when I saw the hazard. I didn't get scored from when I slowed down for the hazard. I got scored from when the hazard got worse, when the cyclist looked over their right shoulder and moved to the right to overtake the scooter. Not that it made a difference to me, because I had to wait behind that cyclist anyway, due to the queue of cars on the right, and hence why, if you're an experienced driver and you have good hazard awareness skills, you're not necessarily going to do well on this test. If you see a hazard far away, my advice is to click when you see the hazard. Click again when you need to start slowing down for the hazard, and click again if the hazard gets any worse, because you're never quite sure when the computer is going to register it as 5 points. At what point on your approach? In that case, it was when the hazard got worse. It was when the cyclist looked over their right shoulder and moved to the right. But in other clips, it's from when you see the hazard, from the very beginning of when you see the hazard. So when you're approaching a hazard from far away, click multiple times on approach, because you're never quite sure when that hazard will be registered by the computer as a hazard. But even for the hazards that appear suddenly from the sides, I still recommend clicking more than once. For example, with these pedestrians, I click as soon as I see them when they're only a potential hazard. Then I click about a second later, and then I click when they are in front of the car, and obviously the car needs to stop so it doesn't run them over. If I was to click 3 times close together, well, those clicks will be a bit wasted really, because they're all in the same place. Click, click, click. If the first click's missed the score, the last click has probably missed the score as well. But if I click a bit more spaced out, like click, maybe a second later, another click, and then another click, or click again if the situation changes or gets worse, then hopefully at least one of those clicks has landed on a high score. I'd like to thank Driving Test Success for allowing me to use their app to make this video. Driving Test Success is an app to help you study for the theory test in Great Britain, both the questions and the hazard perception video clips. They're not sponsoring this video, but they did allow me to use those video clips, the hazard perception clips. When I was learning to drive, I used Driving Test Success, and I passed my theory test on my 17th birthday, the 28th of June 2004. And for the last 16 years of teaching people to drive, I've been recommending Driving Test Success to my pupils, and it seems to work, because generally my pupils don't seem to have a problem passing the theory test. Link in the description. Here's another example of a hazard in the distance. When you see the parked vehicle, click. If it looks like it's starting to move, click again. When you see the signal, click then, because it means they're planning to move out. And when they move in front of you, when they actually move, then click again. And hopefully that should land you a high score. If you found the video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you've passed your theory test, let us know in the comments. If you're looking for car insurance, check out the links to Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you, because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy. And that takes away a big stress from the owner of that car that you're using to practice your driving in. Via the link at the moment, there's up to 35% off and a £20 gift card. If you want to insure your own car, check out the link to confused.com, because you fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes back from many insurers, and you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like without having to do the whole quote again. So it's a quick and easy way to compare how much it costs to insure different cars. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. Subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.